When a new domain is added, a default policy is created for that domain. It can be found in Domain Policies under Policies in the sidebar. The following steps allow you to view and edit a domain policy. Select the domain policy you want to edit. Spam filtering. Select on or off to enable or disable spam filtering for this domain. The default value is on. Set the scoring threshold in the mark as spam when the score is greater than field. This is the value above which mail is considered to be spam. The default value is 5. Select the action to take when an email is identified as spam. Quarantined. The email is accepted, but quarantined and appears in the user's quarantine reports. It can be released from quarantine if deemed to be a false positive. Passed or tagged. The message is analyzed as normal and passed to the end recipient. Headers are added to allow filtering on the back end. Rejected. The message is rejected. The default action is to quarantine all messages that exceed the spam threshold. If you enter a value in the discard spam scoring above field, emails scoring above the specified score will not be quarantined. Check the Send NDR field if you want to generate a delivery status notification when email is quarantined. Please note, this can cause backscatter, which can result in a server IP being blocked. If enabled, the Add X spam headers to non-spam mails adds additional headers to messages that indicates the result of the spam analysis. Virus filtering. Select on or off to specify if virus filtering is enabled or disabled for this domain. The default value is on. Select the action to take when an email is identified as containing a virus. This can be quarantined, passed, or rejected. Attachment type filtering. Select on or off to specify if attachment filtering is enabled or disabled for this domain. The default value is on. If enabled, the customer-level message attachment policy is applied to messages sent to this domain. Select the option you want when a banned attachment is identified. This can be quarantined, passed, or rejected. Quarantine report. Select on or off to specify if a quarantine report will be generated for each recipient in this domain when they have their email quarantined. Select the language you want reports to be written in. Select the frequency with which quarantine reports will be sent. Reports may be generated daily, every weekday, weekly, monthly, or never. A quarantine report can contain a list of all items that are currently quarantined for each user or new quarantined items since the last report was generated. Both of these can be viewed with or without the virus-infected emails included. Spam mail that scores above a certain threshold, usually 5, is deemed spam. In quarantine reports, users generally want to view emails that scored just above the spam score threshold so they can look for any false positives. Archive mail. Select on or off to specify if all clean messages received by this domain are stored in history. The default value is off. Email stored in history is searchable from history in the sidebar. Select Save Changes to save any changes to this domain policy.